Today we're talking about Cornwall Pride. Now, Cornwall Pride is celebrating 50 years of Pride in the UK this year, with not just one Pride parade, and we're not just talking 2 or 3, we're talking 11 parades, which is just insane, bringing pride to the whole of Cornwall, which is fantastic. Now, hot off the parade route from Penzance, today we are joined by Matthew Kenworthy Gomes and Elliot Kenton. Hello.
Hello. Hey.
Thank you for joining us today. Now, Matthew, you are no stranger to Chaos TV, but Elliot, this is your first time.
This is my debut.
Your big debut.
You've been on Teams.
I've done an online one from home before, but this is new. This is lovely.
Brilliant.
Warm studio.
So for everyone watching today, can you give us a little rundown of both of you? If we start with you, Elliot, what's your role within Cornwall Pride?
Okay, so I've recently been appointed by Matthew as the people lead for Cornwall Pride. So that involves making sure recruitment processes are fair and we give equal opportunities to everyone who wants to be on board, either as a trustee or a volunteer, or there's a few of us who are employed. Also involved in booking us into staff training, so ensuring that we're upskilled in things like equality and diversity, mental health first aid, and that we can keep everybody safe at all the different events.
Amazing. Sounds like a very busy role.
It is busy, and it's a very dynamic role because that's kind of what life becomes when you work with Matthew, but it's a very, very lovely thing to be doing, and I'm very excited about the opportunity.
Oh, and Matthew, how's Elliot getting on so far?
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I think what we're creating as part of Cornwall Pride is very much from grassroots. We want to be able to better understand what it means for us as an organisation, and what it means for us as a queer community, creating what we're creating as part of the charity as well. So really from ground up, even though we've been in existence for 15 years as a event, which is a Pride March, advocacy and solidarity for the LGBTQ plus community and raising our rights. Actually, as we grow and understand what we are doing as an organisation, not only through our 11 Pride events or Prides, we are supporting other organisations being able to develop Pride, so like Bude Pride, and connect our intersectional communities from Transparent Presence to Queer Kierno to Black Voices Cornwall, to kind of understand how we all fit in the mix of Cornwall, and celebrate our voices as well. So yeah, it's been a bit of a journey.
I bet, yeah, and look how far you've come already. I wanted to touch on, you mentioned there about you work within the recruitment side of it as well. Have you noticed a change in terms of like you're getting a lot of people interested and want to get more involved with you guys?
Yeah. It's quite extraordinary actually. I think from a volunteer perspective, we're going out to the community, and I think you said something to me which was really interesting, and very much from what we're doing when we're talking about inclusion and feeling comfortable about who you are. I don't necessarily take words from yourself, but it very much is really important to feel empowered and like you're actually making a change, because we are making a change, which is phenomenal. And it's, I suppose, in the same way as Chaos does, what we're doing is we're reaching out and we're saying and actualising the stuff that we're talking about. And it's not about making money, it's about community, and it's about raising community voices.
Absolutely. And I think I don't want to focus on the negative side of things first, because we will get onto all the amazing things you do, but I think I saw on social media the other day you shared something, and I think this just proves why it's so important to have the parades and things. There was an incident with people handing out leaflets at one of your events, which I don't know how much you want to discuss that, but again, this just shows how important it is to have these events and to raise awareness. So can you tell us a little bit about what happened there?
Yeah. So that was, rather than a Cornwall Pride post, that was a personal post from myself, just sharing a photo of a leaflet which had the Pride Gilbert Baker 6 coloured flag on there, which is red, orange, yellow, green, blue and purple, with Pride and what happened after Pride. Okay, and these were being handed out to everyone in the march. And like, oh, okay, this looks great, this looks fine. Flip it over, and the best description is it felt very jargonised gospel.
Right.
And my family are Roman Catholic. And myself, I've been brought into religion, but I better understand that if you are actualising something that is, you are going to go to hell for who you are directly impacting someone's mental health. And I'm sorry, that doesn't fit right with me. As someone can have, or anyone can have, as whatever belief you may have, but if you are targeting someone's person for who they know themselves to be without harming anyone else, that's wrong. And I think, and that's my personal view. And the way that it was being handed out was deceitful and unkind.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think you handled it. You handled it very well. When I saw your post, I was just like, because from a similar, obviously not similar, but in a kind of along the same chats, I've had it before where I've had leaflets randomly handed to me in terms of disability in the past, and it just comes back to that. This is why we do what we do, because we have to raise awareness, educate, and that's what we're here for. And that's what you were doing. You were all having fun at a great event. Yeah. And
it's all about having fun. It's all about engaging and you know, and having a moment, having a time. And you'll hear me say this over and over again, and it is so true, that it can be a single day that impacts someone's life for the rest of their life in a positive way. And the value of that as Pride through mental well-being or a safe space is almost unfathomable from a well-being perspective. How did you feel with because you were there with the leaflets? How did you make it?
It like Matthew said, it was being done in what felt like quite a deceitful manner, because as the parade was going through the town centre, there were it seemed to be a group of younger people who were handing these leaflets to people in the parade. And it came across like maybe it was some kind of after party event or something that they were advertising. But and so one of our volunteers, who are all briefed and they all sign up to certain policies in terms of safeguarding themselves and others at the events, one of the volunteers then, who was handed a leaflet, approached the people and kind of spoke to them and said, look, this isn't appropriate, you need to move on. And then equally during the event at the Killer Court in Newquay, if our volunteers happen to see someone with one of these leaflets, we approach them in a professional and calm way and tried to talk to them about what they'd been given, and advise them that that's not what we're promoting at the Pride event, and that's not what we stand for, because we have safeguarding lead at our events, and
they moved away.
Sure everyone's okay.
They moved away, which was over time. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you handled it very professionally, respectfully, but also I think it's important to mention it today, just because again we want to raise awareness that that's not okay. But let's move on to more positive things. Let's talk about Penzance in particular. Other than that, like, how was the Penzance Parade? The faces say it all.
How was it? What did we do? Is it Tuesday? What's happened?
Yeah.
What's happened since Saturday?
I thought the Penzance Parade was really lush, and it really spoke of their community. The way we had the different what was the band at the front? Did they have a certain name?
It was
type of music.
No, I don't know. That's good. I don't know. Everything's blurring into one day.
Folk
it was folk, Cornish, Celtic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really representative of the local community.
Yeah.
And what was really great is there were some people there who were more local to Penzance that I hadn't met before, and it was a really lovely way of connecting with different people.
It was really weird because we've had some really different dynamics as well. So Falmouth was fantastic, fairly student-led. Then Newquay was actually quite a young person, which was quite exciting. And then Penzance all of a sudden kind of felt like a little bit older.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I thought so too.
Yeah, really nice older as well. But obviously loads of young people there as well. And yeah, it was fantastic. It was such a really cool vibe, wasn't it? And being able to see all the different connections, all the different conversations that we're having. We've got so many different organisations supporting and accessing different people as well, from Who Dares Works to Truro and Penwith College that were there, to We Are With You, to obviously the support that the National Lottery Community Fund has given Cornwall Pride for this is a 5-year project for us to be able to access reaching communities and community prides. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a journey for us and Cornwall.
Yeah, it is huge for Cornwall. And have you noticed, like, in terms of the numbers of people that are attending now compared to previous years, what's it like?
I think from an attendance perspective, we were expecting something around 1,000 people. As a footfall, actually, we're probably reaching about 3,000 people per event.
Wow.
And something between 1,500 and 2,000 people that are actually at the events. So we have Saltash this weekend as well, so it's just on the doorstep of Plymouth, which is really, really exciting. If you are spare time on Saturday, on the 28th, this Saturday, please do help and volunteer. We need a couple more. So we'll put it on our socials. So yeah, it's really, really excited. And we have, attendance has been really good.
Good, I'm glad about that. And we have to talk about the flag. Obviously you attended the Chaos Green Care Conference up on Chaos Farm last week. You brought your flag, and I say it's your flag as if the flag. There's
everyone's flag.
Yeah, remind me of the name. It was we're calling it the.
There's a history of the Pride flag.
Okay.
Originally, it was designed by a gentleman called Gilbert Baker. Had 8 colours. Hot pink and indigo were in there, but at the time you couldn't have indigo and hot pink in the flag because it was too expensive to make, so they got taken out. And then over time we've looked at how it's progressed with inclusion, so the black and brown stripes were added to talk about the racism within the LGBTQ plus community, and that's called the Philly flag. And then the chevron got added on for representation of our transgender community. The pink and blue, and the white, interestingly, is to talk about the challenges that we had with HIV as a community, and that stigma that's still there. And the yellow and the purple, so the yellow bit and the purple circle, is to talk about the community when we talk about intersex as well. So actually, it's a long little intro of what is the largest intersex progress pride marching flag on the planet.
Wow.
Yeah, there we go.
Every time you say it, I'm just like, on the planet. I'm like, okay.
I'm using that specifically because Mel and the Spaceport team funded Cornwall Pride to be able to extend it. And it's actually it's Velcroed on.
Right.
So the reason behind that is when progress progresses, we can progress.
Add to it, and yeah, fantastic. And just as well, obviously, I want to know what a day-to-day life is like for somebody who works at Cornwall Pride. Obviously, at the moment, because the parades are, I presume, are your main focus, taking up a lot of time and planning. Talk me through, both of you, like an average day at work. It's probably the impossible question, but.
Is there an average day?
No. I think one of the things that I feel is really important, and I've picked this up from Babs and Chaos, is actually it's self-driven. So actually, what do I need from my own training with the support with Elliot? So I've got a better understanding of my skill set, and especially with what we're doing, because we're also launching our mental health hub and our peer-to-peer support,
Right.
which is around suicide prevention, and how we can better engage with our community and create safe environments for people to talk about their well-being in a safe space. So at the moment we're focusing on upskilling ourselves to go off and deliver that in August, whilst also actualising those conversations as well on the actual events.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like this mountain,
Yeah.
and you're going, do you know what, I've got so many different routes, but you know, we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
We quite often have a mission impossible each week as well. So usually at the start of the week, me and Matthew will have a telephone conversation, and there will be some sort of mission impossible, it seems, each week.
Yeah.
So the last week it was fixing the flag.
Because it had a rip.
Yeah, because it got ripped.
And literally on the Friday morning, we were sewing the flag for a photo shoot with Royal Cornwall Hospital in the afternoon, and then the Saturday was Penzance Pride.
Oh, wow. I bet your heart must sink when it got ripped, because it's just like, well.
I think it kind of did, but we just went with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens, you know, and it's not done deliberately. It just happens sometimes. But I think you had a bit of a moment of palpitations when you're like, I don't know if it'll take some time. It's like, it'll be fine. We got this.
Yeah.
And there's three of us in Malpas Community Centre.
Really?
With the flag out.
Yeah.
With all three of us sewing for me and Mark.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So there is no typical day, actually.
No.
But that's what's really great about working for Cornwall Pride, is that every day is going to be different, and it's really refreshing.
Yeah.
Really refreshing.
And I think that's one of the things as well, is that we're learning.
Yeah.
And I think through that dynamic and through that learning, what we've got is an ability to think differently, because we don't have those boundaries of actually you have to do it in this particular way. So for example, like business meetings, going to a business meeting this morning and everyone's in suits and I'm in pumps and a t-shirt.
Why not?
But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's about changing the face of what an organisation has to look like, because actually, I was saying to you earlier that, okay, everybody else was wearing a suit, but I bet they were envious that you were in pumps and a t-shirt.
Yeah. And I think that's why people can relate to you as well, and I think that's why they like the fact that you guys are so passionate about what you do, because you obviously have your own lived experiences as well. But I know sort of before we started today, you said that you wanted to share a story that possibly may get a bit emotional. Potentially, I'm throwing you under the bus here. But again, this just shows your passion for what you do. So I believe somebody has sort of given you permission to share their story. Can you tell us a bit about that?
So I'll pass it over to Elliot.
Okay.
Well, you said you were going to.
Well,
I will actually cry.
I said I might be able to without crying.
I don't know whether it might come. You might be able to get it on the link as well.
Is it on your socials as well?
There we go.
Okay. So, so it's a story about a young person called Kit, and I'll read what the post says on the socials. And this is from Kit's parent.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. I really wanted to share this with you to make you aware of the impact today has had. This is my son Kit. He is 15. He has been unwell for about 2 years, which has included many hospital and Tier 4 unit stays. Aside from his mental health, Kit has autism and Tourette's syndrome. Since being discharged from hospital in March, he has been out of the house only twice for short periods. Today, he desperately wanted to come to Penzance Pride but felt too anxious. We compromised with his anxiety and drove past in the car a few times. Kit then asked to get out of the car, and we spent almost 2 hours walking up and down the prom. He bought a necklace and a new flag. Kit said this: "I was so anxious, but it all went away when I got there. I felt safe there. He's planning to come to another one and is already planning his makeup and outfit. It's like looking at the kit I know and love, who loves being alive and celebrates who he is. So, amongst a sea of love, I wanted you to know that there's a young person whose life was changed today. I'm not crying, you are.
Oh my God. I've got like goosebumps from that. How nice is that? How nice. And you can clearly see, Matthew, that must, feedback like that, and Elliot, how do you feel like the feedback must mean so much, because you guys spend so much time preparing events like this, and to hear how it can really affect someone.
I think the biggest challenge that Pride has had is it always looked from the outset of a march and a protest of rights across to the music festival party, and there is nothing wrong with that. That exists, and that's amazing for people to have. But the realism of having a safe space, and everyone, it's really difficult for people that might not understand what safe space might mean. But to have people that are like you, that can be wonderfully queer, wonderfully weird, wonderfully different, celebrate it, not give a flying hoot because that's who they are, is phenomenal. And it allows you to feel free and comfortable and just literally elated. And it's not just about the LGBTQ plus community and the queer community. It's about everyone coming together to have fun, to smile, to laugh in a sober space, or have a drink if you want one. The values really, really stand true with that, where we created them, which is love who you want to love and be who you want to be. And that actually, does that just mean your sexual identity and your gender identity? Actually, it's about you. It's about you celebrating your authentic self, and it's about that empowerment. And that's what Pride means to me. It's who you are. Come and celebrate, have some fun, let go, come and see some real people enjoying themselves.
I love that. What a speech. That's so nice. And again, it comes down to representation and being seen, isn't it? Because the whole point of it is to not hide away. Even, for example, this is a really terrible example, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Even yesterday, I was in a shop, in a store, and they were selling like bags that were the rainbow flag, and there was a sign on it, and it was like Pride and everything, and stuff like that is just amazing, because years and years ago it wouldn't even be known or seen, would it, that it's actively promoting awareness and people going around with carrying Pride bags and things. So yeah, I think, yeah, just well done for everything you are doing at Cornwall Pride, I think. And
Thank you.
Moving on from that, I want to give you the chance to promote. You've mentioned Saltash this coming weekend. What else is coming up?
St Ives after Saltash.
Yeah.
I was doing it. then Truro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that?
Truro's
Like,
been
who
busy.
can remember
Which
the
one's
order?
Okay, we're ready?
Ooh.
Okay.
I know
So-
Matthew knows
Okay.
this order.
So St Ives is June the 11th. Truro is June 18th. We are partnering with Truro Farmers Market and Duchy Fairs on that day. So we're right in front of the Hall for Cornwall. It's going to be incredible. We have Bute Pride on June 25th. Which again are going to be incredible up in the North Coast. It's a little bit later, so I think we're finishing at 10:30 in Bute. So that'd be lush. Then we in Camborne July 2nd, St Austell July 9th, Bodmin July 16th, and then we finish up in Red Roof on July 23rd.
Okay, I'm impressed.
It's like a robot, isn't it?
I can proofread it, but I can't remember
It's
it.
happening. It's happening. Going through them.
Yeah.
But actually, again, huge opportunities to come and volunteer, have some fun with us. We still have stall spaces as well if you want to come and share your organisation with us, mostly in Bodmin. Truro's very full. So yes, and or march with us. I'll be conscious of actually what you're saying with the parade. We actually, as Pride, what we want to be able to do is we want to kind of move away from that parade as a language, because what we're doing is we're marching for progress, we're marching for advocacy, and we're marching for solidarity across our entire LGBTQ plus community and all marginalised groups that feel like they don't fit into the mainstream. And ensure that everyone has a voice.
Fantastic. And quickly, as we just sort of wrap up now, remind our viewers at home how they can, if they want to volunteer or if they want to get involved with Pride, how can they contact you?
Across all of our socials is Cornwall Pride, and probably the easiest way, if you've ever used Linktree, so it's linktr.ee/Cornwall Pride. That takes you everywhere, including Benji Matthews' song, which is called The Love Anthem. It's really cool.
There we go. Well, thank you both for coming in for a chat today. It's been brilliant. I know you've got a very busy schedule, so we appreciate it, and I'm sure we will see lots more from you coming up, and we'll keep an eye on those socials as well.
Fab, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Anytime.